Nico Robin debuted on One Piece Treasure Cruise Global on the 28th of June 2018. A One Piece fan favorite finally receives her first Sugo-Fest exclusive character, including a batch that many players were waiting for, which brought along some powerful rare recruits, which included Valentine Shirahoshi, Valentine Carrot, Valentine Nami, as well as Valentine Koala. And the Sugo-Fest exclusive character of the batch focused on providing buffs to the Cerebral class with a tanky captain effect that gave substantial recovery boosts, and a special that would block all incoming damage as well as provide some slots to make full use of her recovery capabilities. Introducing Nico Robin, Void Century Archaeologist. In this series, we'll be traveling back in time to experience some of the older Sugo-Fest exclusive characters in their prime, aiming to show just what it was like to use these characters on their debut. I hope you enjoy the video, and without further ado, let's enter the Legends of OPTC. Thank you very much for checking out yet another episode of The Legends of OPTC, and in today's video we're checking out a fan favorite character in the One Piece series, being Nico Robin, and she comes along with a very powerful Sugo-Fest batch. On Japan, this debuted as the Valentine's Day Sugo-Fest, and it obviously came out a little bit later for Global. A lot of people were really excited for this batch, not only because the legend was kind of interesting, but the actual rare recruits in this batch are extremely powerful utility-based characters. So let's go ahead and jump on and into the batch. So the first one here is going to be Shirahoshi. This unit, or just basically the whole batch, I'm pretty sure, is Cerebral. I think actually Carrot is the only non-Cerebral unit, but anyways, we got Shirahoshi, who's a Dex Cerebral Free Spirit, great class and type combination. Her captain ability doesn't really matter, but the special ability being reducing paralysis, special bind, and attack down all by 5 turns, recovers 7,000 HP for 3 turns, changes all orbs of the top row characters into matching slots. So the orb change doesn't really matter. The healing is nice, but doesn't really matter. The main component of this character is this amazing utility, and if you guys have been following the series, you guys would have seen the rare recruits that we've had have not had amazing utility pieces, and this is one of the best utility rare recruits and still see some niche usage in play today. Very, very powerful special ability, completely resisting special bind on herself, changes all slots into recovery at the start of the fight. Great crewmate abilities. The cooldown relatively high, 15 turn cooldown, but eventually with the expansion going down to 13. For a special ability like this, a very usable character that still sees play today. The next one is Carrot, who is a Free Spirit powerhouse character, and once again, special ability or captain ability doesn't really matter, but the special itself, reducing chain multiply limit and chain coefficient reduction by 3 turns, so that's chain reduction and chain lock effects by 3, and then locks the chain multiplier at 2.75 times for 1 turn. So removing negative chain related buffs and then applying a pretty decent chain lock on top of that. Now, at this point in time, I think 2.75 was the best chain lock you could get in the game. I don't think there was a 3 times chain locker up until this point. So this is a very powerful effect, just to get this from a regular rare recruit, very low cooldown as well. Unfortunately, 3 turn removal of these debuffs didn't help that much. If this was 5 turns, definitely would have seen a lot more play than what she currently did see. And then also makes recovery beneficial to all characters as a very useful crewmate ability. So overall, Carrot saw some niche usage once again. Really not too bad though, and you know, probably was the best Carrot in the game up until her Sugo-Fest exclusive release. And now we have a look at Valentine's Day Nami. So she is a quick Cerebral Striker character, and her special ability would deal 10% of damage to enemies, and then also change the orb of herself into a recovery slot, boost the attack of Cerebral by 1.75 for 1 turn, and if during that turn you hit 5 perfect hits, boost the attack of Cerebral by 2.25 in the following turn. I believe we actually did end up using Nami in our V2 Rayleigh video, so if you guys want to see her in action, go ahead and check that video. But a very powerful rare recruit, being able to provide multiple turns of an attack boost, and especially up to a 2.25, Very difficult to get though. You need to score 5 perfect hits in that previous turn. Not the easiest thing to do, because, you know, if you kill the enemy before that 5th hit, you know, you don't get the buff, which is really, really annoying. But if you are able to achieve that, a 2.25 times attack boost is like upwards of like some of the best boosts you can get in the game at this point. So a very powerful rare recruit, mainly focused on doing damage, of course. Quick slots beneficial to cerebral characters, and if you hit a perfect with her recovery slot, she actually keeps it for the following turn. But of course, this character became even more powerful as time progressed, as she got a very good crewmate, or support effect should I say, attaching to any of the Straw Hat characters that would allow you to remove Bind and Despair when you activate her special ability, or the special ability of the supported character. So yeah, a really nice unit that saw a lot of play on release, and as time has progressed, definitely didn't see as much play that much anymore, but her support effect definitely is a valuable piece. So the final rare recruit before we talk about the Sugo-Fest exclusive is Koala, Int Cerebral Fighter, special ability reducing Bind and Despair by 3 and giving themselves a recovery slot, and if your captain is a cerebral character, you get a 0.7 chain multiplier boost for 1 turn, and the bottom row slots are changed into matching. So of course, if you look at it at a certain standpoint, you can have like Koala and then Nami in the middle, because they actually manipulate their own slots, and then you can have Koala giving your bottom row slots matching, you have Shirahoshi, which can change the top row slots into matching. So you can see that if you use all these rare recruits together on a cerebral team, you can actually generate a full board of matching slots, which is actually pretty cool, because also both Nami and Koala both have this keeping of recovery slots if you hit a perfect. So you can understand how this badge kind of works together, and of course got a very good support effect later on, which only attaches to Sabo, but it is very, very valuable. So overall, the rare recruits in this batch were amazing, and up until this point probably were the fan favorites in terms of the best batch in the game, because it really made the cerebral class that much better than almost every other class at this point. An extremely, extremely powerful class. And now we get the opportunity to talk about Nico Robin. So she's a Psi Cerebral Fighter. Captain ability of this character would boost the attack of Cerebral by 3.25 times, and also give them a 1.5 times recovery boost, and makes recovery slots matching for Cerebral, and also 20% damage reduction. So I think a lot of people need to understand, a 1.5 recovery boost, especially when you have double Robin, a 2.25 times recovery boost, the amount that you heal from a recovery slot is legitimately insane. Like, you're healing for like half of your recovery back, or half of your HP back, should I say, if you get a recovery slot. It's pretty absurd, actually. And the fact that you also have 20% damage reduction, this is a very bulky captain, and, you know, 3.25 wasn't really, you know, the top echelon in terms of damage potential. You know, we already had characters like Timeskip Luffy and Lucy and Neko Mamashi that were able to reach, you know, close to a 4 times multiplier, so a 3.25 obviously wasn't anything too crazy, but the bulkiness of the character was the reason why people would often use this character, plus the cerebral class in and of itself was very, very good. And then you've also got the special ability, which is, you know, relatively decent cooldown, reduces damage received by 100% for 1 turn, and if your captain is cerebral, you get adjacent slots changed to recovery. So they definitely upgraded this character a lot when they gave Robin the super evolution, because I believe with the super evolution, she became an attack booster, which is a lot more valuable to have. But the fact that this character just negates all damage from any source by 100% for 1 turn is very valuable, just to make sure that if the enemy does a death hit, you can block it. If you have not a lot of HP left, you can use her special ability to block damage, as well as generate recovery slots, which you can use to heal from. And of course, if you are using her as a captain, you're not going to be getting, you know, the full usage of the adjacent slots into matching, because you only get 2 slots when she's the captain. But the fact that you can heal from that, and she's got, you know, this extra recovery boost, you're going to be healing for a lot of HP. So the special ability makes sense, but in the grand scheme of things, a lot of people kind of looked past her because she didn't really provide a lot of heavy damage. So a lot of people still opted for characters like Lucy, Neko, Doflamingo V2 at this point in terms of damage potential, but still, Robin was a great asset to have, and really helped you clear a lot of content with really bulky mechanics. So the wheel today, we've got 3 different pieces of content that we're going to be taking on. We've got Pedro, we've got Sanji, or we have Jesus Burgess. So let's go ahead and spin that wheel. Let's see what we get today. I ideally want to see one of the 2 Colosseums, because that's going to be a lot more fun to play around with. And we are gonna get Burgess. Okay, Colosseum Burgess. I don't exactly remember what legend came out for Burgess exactly, but I know it wasn't Robin. So it's going to be interesting to see how Robin kind of clears this one. Robin is a Psi unit having type advantage against Burgess, so I think it's going to be interesting in that regard. Alright, let's go ahead and build a team and take on Colosseum Burgess. So we're in game now with Nico Robin, the Straw Hat Pirates archaeologist, and she's been pursued since childhood, but is now with friends she can trust. This fact was shown when she announced that Luffy was worth risking their lives for while at Dressrosa. So of course this character was themed around the Dressrosa batch, of course. And yeah, so here's Nico Robin. She's all good to go. Limit break, 100 attack and 100 recovery candies. This is a huge discussion when this character was releasing about whether you feed 100 candies to attack or you feed or 100 candies to HP or 100 candies to recovery. Because remember, back then you could only feed a maximum of 200 to a character. And it was the discussion of whether HP or recovery. And, I mean, you could really go in either direction. I personally preferred the recovery. That was the way I kind of saw it anyway. But anyways, in terms of the team composition, this is what we have here to take on Colosseum versus Burgess. So we're really focusing in on Robin's special ability to block damage. That's going to be in the forefront of today's video. We've got some heavy damage dealers as well, Law for a huge orb boost, Crocodile for a huge attack boost, and then we've got Saba, which is going to be kind of nice for just getting rid of one of the mini-bosses, and then one of her batch characters in Shirahoshi, which is going to be a nice way to buff up our HP, because she does provide healing at the end of every turn. She also kind of gets rid of that paralysis too, which is going to be kind of neat, but yeah, I'm really excited to jump into this one, utilizing Nico Robin in a relatively difficult piece of content for her, so let's go ahead and jump into it. So shout out once again to TheLordShiro for providing his friend Captain Nico Robin. That's definitely going to be useful. So we're ready to go against the final round against Jesus Burgess. Alright, here we go. It's time to party, let's get it. And here we go, final round, battle 1. So of course, main thing is going to be getting our cooldowns. So the thing is we're actually going to be doing a lot of stall on battle 4 and battle 5. So realistically, our specials don't need to be too charged, but we do need Sabo special for battle 3. So that, as long as we get that, we're pretty much golden in terms of everything else. And the good thing about Robin in terms of using Shirahoshi as a sub is we have so many of these recovery slots, so we really can just tank as much damage as we want, as long as we don't die, obviously. And you guys are going to see how much that we heal from these recovery slots. It's pretty absurd. And of course, we are using a little bit of a different ship here today as well. You see, we are using the Red Force, which is the red-haired pirate ship. And the main reason as to why we are doing that is because if you use Zunisha, yeah, Zunisha probably is the better ship overall, but the problem with it is that it makes it very difficult for us to land, you know, greats, which on the final stage versus Burgess, he actually has a great barrier. You have to hit 2 greats. And if you guys have ever used Zunisha and have attempted to hit greats in that situation, it's not easy to do because the ship makes it that much easier to land perfects that it's almost impossible. Or it's not impossible, but it makes it very difficult to land greats. And especially when you're doing it on a burst turn, if you screw it up, you just outright lose. We're not going to risk it today. But the Red Force is interesting because this ship actually increases the chances of us landing on a matching slot. So I think that's going to be kind of nice and hold us in good stead today. And we are still trying to keep as many recovery slots as we possibly can. And as I said, we want to make sure that Sabo is ready to go by battle 3, which, you know, we've got to do a couple more turns of stall, but we should be able to get there without too many hassles. And before we move into the next stage, we're probably going to consume as many recovery slots as we can. I feel like it's pretty okay if we just tank a hit from this giant here. He shouldn't hit too hard, especially because when we have Robin, we get pretty significant damage reduction from her as well. So Sabo is ready to go here. So I think what we're going to do, look at how much we recover here from these recovery slots. It is absurd, man. Like, that is just otherworldly. Just a full heal from a couple of recovery slots. It's pretty dumb. So here we have Bato on battle 3. He has increased defense, and this is why I was saying that I wanted to make sure that Sabo is ready to go, because Sabo was a treasure map character a couple months back prior to the release of Robin. And if your captain is cerebral, you get the defense down conditional boost. And I don't think it actually 100% removes the defense, but it's good enough because it also gets the conditional boost. It also does some orb change. It gets or just changes all type slots into matching for your cerebral characters. So at this point here, we should be able to just do some regular attacks and get through it relatively comfortably. Yeah, definitely tanky. but we got there in the end. Okay, that was a little bit close, but it's okay. You know, the defense down conditional definitely helped. If it was just that alone, would not do that much damage. But here we go with Diamante. So this is where the Burgess Coliseum was really annoying, in that you could only use 2 specials per turn as soon as you reach this stage, pretty much for the rest of the run. So 15 turns of special limit, we can only use 2 specials, and that's pretty frustrating, because it means that when you usually get to a final stage, it's where you want to activate multiple different types of specials, and you don't really get that opportunity to do that because of the special limit here. Remember, super types and super classes, dual units were not a thing yet. Actually, the next week's video is going to be with Luffy and Ace, the very first dual legend in One Piece Treasure Cruise. That's going to be a lot of fun. But let's go ahead and see what we got. So, Diamante, we're just going to do normal attacks. Let's get it. Okay. Make sure to finish on Law for the type advantage. Actually, pretty decent damage. So this guy actually doesn't hit really hard, but the end of turn damage is where things get a little bit more annoying. So we actually are getting lots of matching slots, thank you very much to the Red Force ship, and this is where we can go ahead and use Shirahoshi. So Shirahoshi gets rid of the paralysis, changes the top row slots into matching, and for the next 3 turns, I believe it was, we get a 7,000 heal, and remember, we have the auto heal sockets as well, which gives us an additional 1,000, so that's going to be kind of massive. So from here, we can just go ahead and do normal attacks once again. We don't have to use any damage increasing specials, because Diamante really doesn't do anything. Like, he just does that thing on Battle 2, as we said, and then we just pretty much coast it all the way until we reach the final stage. Hopefully matching slot on Law. Wow, look at these matching slots, man. So good. So this should be able to get us into Battle 5 right now. Attack with Law. Beautiful. Alright, so making it into Battle 5. We're already at the final stage. I feel like we've just completely blown through this Coliseum. So Battle 5 versus Burgess. This is where things get a little tricky. Okay, so Burgess is going to do really annoying orb change, and we really want to make sure that we can get rid of these slots. And as you can see, Burgess also has that Great Barrier, as we were mentioning earlier on in the video. So Burgess has that Great Barrier, so we want to make sure that we can actually pierce that. So we are also wanting to get rid of these slots. Now these slots, while they seem annoying right now, they're not going to be that annoying later on. We have a lot of HP to play with, so we're just going to do normal attacks first. But remember, we don't want to actually hit a good or a great while we have those bomb slots. So I'm going to do some normal damage for the first couple of turns, and we'll see how things progress from that point onwards. Okay, that was a pretty good first turn, so we got rid of those nasty slots. Second turn, we've got Burgess. He's going to heal back a little bit, but that's fine. No, he didn't heal back at all. Okay, that's good. But he gave us those slots again, and we have attack down. So that obviously is really, really annoying. However, he didn't do any damage to us, so that's really big. So from here, we can just do the exact same thing on this turn. So let's do it again. Okay, so we're just chipping away a little bit. And then here we go with Burgess and his annoying shenanigans. So he binds 2 of our crewmates for 2 turns, or for 5 turns should I say, and he gets increased power. So now he doesn't do that nasty orb change anymore. So let's go ahead and use the Robin special ability, which will completely negate all damage that we take for this 1 turn, and that includes special damage if like an enemy does an action to perform damage, or their normal attacks, as well as changing those slots into recovery. But ideally we want to keep those slots on our characters, so we'll just 1-tap and pass the turn here. He's going to do some nasty stuff, but we don't have to worry about it because we can just completely block the damage that he does to us. No problems whatsoever. And now we have another turn. We're going to go ahead and use another Robin special. Just block out the damage. We don't want to see any of this, man. Let's just stop that from happening. Get a couple of orb changes as well. And if we get lucky, we could potentially get a full board of matching slots here. Actually, Shirahoshi does not have a matching slot, so she won't have one, which is kind of unfortunate. But at this point here, we can just 1-tap, stall. And now that our top 2 row characters will actually have a full board of slots, which is fantastic. Sabo unfortunately didn't get a matching slot, but this is where we can go in for a burst turn. Remember, we can only use 2 specials, which is why we have to run the team in a bit of a funky way. Let's go ahead and use the Law special ability, which will give us a 2.25 times slot effect boost for our cerebral characters, and ideally finish with the 2 Robins as our final characters. They have the highest chain, they'll have the orb boost, and then they'll also have the attack boost from Crocodile, a 2 times attack boost. So this is about as good as we can possibly get. Obviously we can have a couple of other characters like Colosseum Pedro, which gives color affinity boost, potentially like chain lockers or chain boosters, but you know, it's hard to fit them into this team like this. But let's see how this goes, right? Let's see how we go. And we have to make sure that we hit our 2 greats with our 2 bottom row characters and then hit perfects the rest of the way. Let's give it a shot. Nice! We just squeaked it in. Okay, so maybe doing the first couple of hits of damage on those first couple of turns might have been the difference between winning and losing there. You know, that's huge. And obviously, if you take a team like this into content like this, in today's day and age, you have like access to support effects, which can definitely help you get increased damage along the way there. But despite all that, we got the job done. Pretty excited about that one. So there you go, Nico Robin taking on Colosseum Burgess. And with all that being said, that is going to wrap up yet another episode of the Legends of OPTC, and in next week's video, we're taking a delve into the double characters when Luffy and Ace make their initial debut on One Piece Treasure Cruise Global. It's going to be a lot of fun, very much looking forward to that, and that is a huge fan favorite character too. Hopefully that character receives a level limit break. Just dual units in general need a little bit more of a buff. Those really old ones are just terrible now, so would love to see a little bit of support given to those characters. But that is going to wrap it up for me. Thank you very much for watching, and if you guys enjoyed the video today, make sure to go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all of the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.